So in our previous session, we looked at the December 2022 question paper. So that is one of the latest question papers available. Hence, we looked at the question pattern, the questions as such, and I also helped you with the writing strategies and how to go about this examination. We also discussed the relevant answers to those questions. Right now, we will focus our attention towards another previous paper, that is June 2022 question paper. Let me take a minute to share my screen with you. So most of the aspects are same regarding the time, the maximum marks and the instructions. These are as discussed in our previous session. So I am not elaborating on all these once again. Let's straight away move on to the questions. Section A. We know that there will be 4 questions from section A, out of which you just need to choose 2. So the first question. What are signifier and signified? How are they related? So this is a very basic question from structuralism, and hence if you are wondering the block number, this falls under block 1, unit 2. If you have your study material in front of you, you could see that under section 2.1.1, this aspect has been mentioned. It would be great if you could demonstrate with a picture too, because that would actually enhance your answer. Moving on to the next question, distinguish between spelling and sounds in English. So this is a probable question that could appear in your exam question paper from block 2. Remember, in our previous session on the December 2022 question paper, we discussed some blocks are more important than the others, and you may even skip some aspects in certain blocks. So this is a probable question from block 2. This particular question is from unit 1. If you have your study material, you may look into section 1.2, where you have the exact same heading and you can frame a short essay out of the same. If you look at the third question, for those who are not familiar with the study material, this might seem a bit tough, but dear learners, this is also a straight question from block 3. The question is like, what is meant by comparing words with the other words or fields of words while recognizing the relationships between words in English? This is a question from block 3, unit 1, and to be very specific, you could find the detailed explanation under section 1.3.1. Moving on to the fourth question, what is a noun phrase? Explain its main types. So it's a very easy question. I'm very sure that most of the students would definitely choose this. This could also be a long essay question, provided they also add something more to the question. Of course, everybody would be aware that this is a question from block 4, particularly from unit 2. Under section 2.1, you could see what a noun phrase is, and the main types of noun phrases are seen under section 2.3. So you could summarize the basic points from section 2.1 to section 2.3 from block 4. That would actually give you the perfect answer. So that's all regarding section A. As I told you in my previous session, you could see that you get one representative question from each of the 4 blocks as part of section A. For that matter, make sure that you are aware of the previous questions. If you are lucky, you will see similar questions. For those students who selectively study for the TEE, make sure that you read as many questions as possible and prepare your answers effectively. Moving on to section B, Here also you have around 7 questions, out of which you need to choose 4. You are free to leave 3 questions. For that matter, choose the best questions that you are confident about. Make sure that you present the best answers. For that matter, choose the options wisely. The very first question is indeed easy. Discuss various theories of the origin of language. All of you must be familiar to this question. This is a question from block 1, specifically from unit 1. Under section 1.3, you see the very many sources of language. To be specific, there are 6 sources: the divine source, the natural sound source, social interaction source, the physical adaptation source, the tool making source, and also the genetic source. Make sure that you study this thoroughly. Block 1, unit 1 is very important. There could be many questions, may that be based on the function of language or animal communication and human language, or even the theories of the origin of language. Any of these 3 could be essay questions. In some question paper, you get to see almost all the 3 questions. Even in this particular question paper, as question 7, you see human and animal communication. Hence, I would say block 1, unit 1 is of great importance. So the next question is to critically analyze different aspects of multilingualism in India. You all know that multilingualism refers to the ability of a person or a population to speak more than 2 languages. In India, we are all aware that we speak many languages. So this falls under block 1, unit 4. You could see specific explanation under section 4.4. Nevertheless, you need to have an idea or a brief overview of the entire unit with respect to this short essay. Moving on to the third question, explain various word building processes in English. Have you seen this question before? Of course, we saw this question as part of the December 2022 question paper. See, I told you there could be repeated questions, and this is a very quintessential example. Remember, block 3, unit 1, section 1.5. Please do prepare effectively. Moving on to the fourth question, discuss various grammatical categories associated with the English verb. So, students might feel like this is from block 4 because we study verb phrase as part of block 4. Don't be confused. This is a straight question from block 3, unit 3. Under section 3.4, you could see the right answer and explanation. Next question is also a very easy question. Question number 5. Elaborate on basic patterns of sentences in English. So this is a question from block 4, unit 1. Patterns of sentences would be under section 1.4. It's easy to study this. Please make sure that you prepare this one. Moving on to the next question. It seems a bit lengthy, but it's an easy question. What are the different types of verbs in English? Explain how verb phrase is structured. So, this is a straight question from block 4. You know, we have a unit on verb phrase. So, this is block 4, unit 3. Under section 3.6, we have structure of verb phrase. Moving on to the last question in this particular question paper, question number 7. Identify properties of human language which makes it different from animal communication. I told you there would be multiple questions from unit 1, block 1. So this is also a question from unit 1, block 1, a very easy question. There are also some points to remember with respect to this. This falls under section 1.6. I have also delivered lectures on this. So these are the basic questions that are part of the June 2022 TEE. Remember, even in this question paper, there has been a pattern that we analyzed in the December 2022 question paper. That is, with respect to section A, you see representative questions from each of the blocks, and as part of section B, you see more questions from block 1 and no questions from block 2. There would be 2 questions from blocks 3 and 4. So this has been the pattern for the last 2 years. This could change this year. Nevertheless, I thought of making you familiar with this question pattern. So once you prepare, make sure that you give attention to block 1. The most attention should be given to block 1. Thereafter, you can focus on blocks 3 and 4. We will discuss all the relevant aspects regarding the most important units, the most important questions to prepare effectively for your TEE when we discuss this as of a separate session. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me.